Happy Saturday. JT here. Had some questions about the 3 bar breaks. So let's get into it real quick. So, one of these questions today was JT, wondering if you could clarify if I'm interpreting the 3 bar break concept correctly. Did we just get a 3 bar break on SMH on Thursday? That was Cricks. So, Cricks, the answer to that is yes. You did have an official 3 bar break on Thursday. Now, there's context to put these situations in, and there's a few things to talk about with 3 bar breaks. Now, you can see how this mirrors the SMH really mirrors QQQ and NVDA because NVDA is such a heavy component and QQQ that these charts look the same. You can see here SMH came off an all-time high just like the Qs. This actually broke with the Qs. NVIDIA actually topped out before. We'll look at that next. But you can see 3 bar break off the top because it closed below the prior low of the 3 bars, which it was really this one, but there you go. So you've got that there. Failed wick setup. Little bear flag off the top. JT, you can't have a bear flag off the top. Yes, you can. Little micro one like this. So 3 bar break down on a gap. Now this is in the markets too, the QQQ, but you can see continued down a little bit, breached 50-day, another little bear flag, breaks with a 3 bar break. So remember, 3 bar break, you can have them intraday, but it's not an official 3 bar break until it actually closes below the low 3 days before. So I'll show you on NVIDIA. NVIDIA almost had a 3 bar break on Thursday, but it missed it because it did not close. Let's take a look at that real quick. It did not close below. Let's get to the clean version of the video here. So it didn't close below. You see how it breached it intraday, but then it did not close. It missed it by just a little bit there. I think you needed to close 123.42, and it actually closed 123.74. So you did not have the 3 bar break on NVIDIA. And let's go back to SMH real quick and just walk it all the way through. So that 3 bar break, oops, reversal here, you're just more trouble. 3 bar break again, you're living below the 21 EMA, it's just not that good. Another 3 bar break, and then you gap down. This was our capitulation. Once you start to get so many gap downs in a row, I'm a big proponent of 2 and 3 gaps in a row. That's usually exhaustive. You're going to get a reversal. This was 2 gap downs in a row, pretty heavy with the heavy volume. So reversal, little oops reversal, check back here, but you didn't really get too far into the body here on this reversal. So moving back up now. These little green arrows here, these are 3 bar breaks up. You kind of see you had an inkling of one there, but the market was still coming off. Now here it gets a little different because you have this oops reversal down, but then the next day, inside day, next day, little small range, boom, 3 bar break up. Now it wasn't massive. You're still under the 21 day, but you've got this little inkling starting here. You gap the next day, you come back down, you can't get into the body. It's a great sign. You close above the 21 EMA. So SMH is repairing itself. You're getting back through this gap, closing it. Let's see, you have you've closed this gap area over here now, basically. So this is kind of your resistance zone. Now, this 3 bar break on Thursday in SMH, how do you repair it? Well, 3 bar breaks can repair themselves or mitigate if you take back half of the range. So right here, you're going to take the high of 253.32 and you're going to add it to the low of 241.54, divide it by 2, and that gives you 247.43 for the midpoint of this range. Friday, it closed at 248.39. So you mitigated half of the range. Contextually, yes, it had an oops reversal because, it gapped up, got a little ahead of itself, and flushed back down that day. Now, this was an official 3 bar break, but you did not close back below a rising 10-day or a 21 EMA. So you're in no man's land here. Clearly, this is waiting for NVIDIA's earnings next week. So we have to see how it goes. But one way you can mitigate a 3-bar break is taking back half of its range. This has done that so far. So it is not confirmed yet. So, this is a situation where you've got an inside day. It's mitigated this bad day Thursday. You could break higher above this range. So there's that. And that is the same situation going on here with NVIDIA. Even though this was a 3-bar break intraday, it didn't officially close with it. So it has not confirmed anything yet other than it took back more than half the range. It's, high up in this inside bar here. So this is actually, it is kind of a flawed double bottom in the sense that not a lot of distance between this first leg low and the midpoint. It's something that we saw with Tesla at the start of 2022. It was the last one to really fail. And it had a flawed double bottom. You can go study that if you want to look at something like that. But anyway, back to this 3-bar break. This is a situation where you're just waiting on NVIDIA's earnings, and the QQQ, you can see it flirted same thing Thursday with the oops reversal down and got into, possibility. Let's see. I think it did register. Let's see. 473.37, 473.81. So it got real close, didn't do it. Same deal. Contextually, you're above a 50-day now. You're above a 21 EMA. So you need confirmation on these types of things. The real big signals to me with the 3-bar break is when you're coming off an all-time high. And that's when, that situation gets more ominous. And you can kind of see the same thing here. 3-bar breakdown gap, 3-bar breakdown gap. You rally back up. You have this little 3-bar break to the upside here, but you've already had like a failed wick setup before. You get this failed wick setup into a declining 21 EMA, crossing under the 50-day. It's not the trend's against you at that moment, and you get the flush. And then this wall of worry back up. It always makes me laugh because on these rallies, you're never going to have the volume that you had on the way down, on the way back up. It's just not how it works. Never has worked that way. Very rarely, because the buyers are coming in here. We were buying this morning pre-market. So I was buying futures an hour before the market opened because we saw what was going on. It's not our first rodeo trading chaos. So that's a little bit on 3-bar breaks. So the takeaways, you need to mitigate more than half the range. So if you want to go back and look here, you took back briefly half of the range, but you didn't close halfway back. So that was telling you that there was an issue going on right here. That fact that it could not mitigate and close halfway back here. So same deal here. You kind of started to try to gap up that morning inside the range, couldn't do it, rejected halfway, can't get half of it back. Again, gap down. Same thing here. You had a moment right here, though, where you are closing halfway back into this range, but you have to take into account on these gaps what the true range is. So the true range here was from this high to this low. And if you calculate that out, it's likely that that was not halfway back. It was probably more like it needed to get, to the 50-day, which it didn't. Next day, failure. Again, 3-bar break. You got to take into account, what's this true range here? You need to take half of it back. Well, you didn't take half of that back until over here, but you had exhaustion gaps. So you got to put it all in context, and going back to what we were talking about to start here with SMH, this is just an unconfirmed situation. And again, you're waiting on NVIDIA. That's the big driver on this next week. So keep your eyes on NVIDIA, and this will likely resolve itself, one way or the other. That's what an inside day is. You're waiting on a range break. But right now, it's mitigated this. So you kind of have to lean with a positive view on it until proven otherwise. So don't get too bearish here, but keep your eyes open either way. So that's a long explanation on that. I'm sure there's more I could uncover on 3-bar breaks, but that's it for now. Hope that helps.